Annabelle was moved into a glass box in the Warren's Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut, where it still is to this day. It's just behind a little glass wall.
But for some reason it can't get out. 1 minute ago it was trying to fucking kill people. Now you put it in a bit of glass, so it can't get out. And what, it needs a human host?
It was looking to find a human host.
You'll be all right then, because you're just a co-host. Carry on.
So this is Annabelle, the demonic doll.
The famous story of Annabelle.
So I think this is a massive one, because I think anyone listening right now will know what Annabelle is.
Robbie didn't know what Annabelle.
Yeah. And most people, 99% of people will know what Annabelle is.
Yeah.
So the legend began in 1970 when a student nurse was given a doll as a birthday gift from her mum. She put the rag doll on her bed and noticed it kept changing positions whenever she'd look away and look back. They said that the doll behaved strangely. The girl and her roommate started to find parchment paper on the floor with written messages like "Help me, help us." The doll began appearing in different rooms and at one point appeared to be leaking blood. One day, a male friend was taking a nap and woke up with the doll staring at him, and he felt like he was being strangled. Deep scratch wounds were found on his upper body. Not knowing where to turn, they contacted a medium and a séance was held. They were told that the doll was inhabited by the spirit of a dead girl named Annabelle Higgins, who had died at the age of 7. The medium told the girl and her roommate that the spirit had felt like she had some form of connection to the roommates and that she wanted to stay with them and be loved. And for some reason, the student and her roommate tried to accept that and nurture the spirit of the possessed doll.
You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it. Didn't you just say... I mean, I've done well. I got an hour and 10 in, but I've zoned out. All right? So... I'm probably still thinking about the deaths of those poor children that got axed to death.
I'm really not buzzing for this anymore. Absolute buzzkill, the last one, wasn't it?
Didn't the doll try and kill the boy?
What?
The doll
strangled
the boy.
Yeah.
That you're out for me. You're out the house. There's not if the doll does say the doll wants to be loved, right?
Yeah.
Wants to be loved and adored. So do not, if that's what you want from life, do not start by trying to strangle someone to death.
That's a fair point.
All right.
Yeah. That's not how you go about it.
No. It needs to fucking sort it out.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'll continue, but can you listen? Where was I? I completely forgot where I was.
It doesn't matter.
We've long gone, mate. Read the words we can get on.
So,
I'll train in 20 minutes.
They decided to accept the doll, and but they continued to report that it was exhibiting malicious and frightening behaviour. This is when paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren became interested in the case. And for anyone who's seen films like, I think, The Conjuring, The Nun, and Annabelle, Amityville Horror, so those two paranormal investigators were real life people.
What, and they star in the film?
Not the actual people, but people play them in the film. And in real life, those two did about 10,000 paranormal cases, like went to people's houses and tried to find all these, got a lot of money from it.
All about the money.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I'll kind of lay into them in a bit, because I was just reading about
Go on, Stevie.
Yeah. Right. You got my attention again.
Oh, what was that? Edgy Stevie we called him? Was it? No.
The Dark White?
No.
Right. Alpha Stevie.
Alpha Stevie.
Alpha Stevie's about to rip into some
yeah,
ghost hunters.
You've literally won the room around just saying that. We're like, come on. Yeah.
We'll go back to the story and then we'll get to that. When the Warrens saw the doll, they announced that it was demonically possessed and wasn't actually looking to stay attached to the doll, but it was looking to attach to a human host. The Warrens took the doll, and Ed told his wife to avoid the highway home as it would be a rough ride, and he was right. At one point, he had to sprinkle holy water on the doll to calm it down. Annabelle was moved into a glass box in the Warrens Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut, where it still is to this day. It's just behind a little glass wall.
But for some reason it can't get out. 1 minute ago it was trying to fucking kill people. Now you put it in a bit of glass, so it can't get out. And what, it needs a human host?
It was looking to find a human host.
You'll be all right then, because you're just a co-host. Carry on. I had to bring that back. Literally set you up for it.
Why am I doing this?
Because I can't find anyone better.
There was actually one time a museum goer went and ignored the warnings of the doll, and he taunted the doll And when he was asked to leave on his motorbike ride home, he got in a crash and died.
Coincidence.
I agree.
Yeah.
He taunted the doll.
Taunted the doll.
What?
Doll.
Wanker.
You're just a doll, mate. What sort of things did he say?
I don't know, just
Can
as
you
taunted. He
guess?
was asked to leave. I don't know. It's a little red-headed rag doll thing.
Yeah, but what did he say? I mean, play the character. Like,
I know from experience, being ginger
Yeah.
at a school, you do get a lot of insults. So, like,
Yeah.
I imagine he threw a lot of them at the doll. Like,
Yeah.
ginger.
Ginger minge. No.
It's a kid's doll, Steve. You got to go minge. Jesus.
Carrot top.
Yeah.
Tampon.
Yeah.
Because you're really pale.
Yeah. I think they'd focus on the fact it's a doll as well, though.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, this is getting like that personal therapy for you. Yeah. But I think also, it's like, hey, you doll, mate, you made of wool, you prick. That sort of stuff.
Who's this twat anyway? I'm glad he's had a motorbike accident, because if he's going around... What, he did?
Yeah, that's the real part.
All right, well, maybe I'm not glad.
I am going to say apparently because I don't believe a word Ed and fucking Lorraine Warren have ever said in their life.
Here we go. He's going for him.
Oh,
They're both
I've
dead
got a
now as
semi.
well.
I've got a
dead.
semi. What do you think of him? Go on. I want more.
Hold on, before we get there, I'm
Oh,
going to...
he's like Jeremy Kyle before a break.
I'm going to get Joe's...
Also, like we had to be really respectful. People who died like 1916, and he's going, "I'm glad he's probably died." Like,
I did not say
five
that. I'm
years
just glad
ago.
they did. So that's the story. That's Annabelle. That's
Yeah.
literally all it is. And they've
Possessed
somehow
doll.
made this massive film out of it, which is why I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous. That the film, there's three Annabelle films I think they managed to make.
Yeah.
The whole story is that some girl went, think my doll's possessed. These two jumped on it and went, oh, let's find out. Drive it home, but be careful. Throw some holy water on it, put it in a box. That's all that ever happened.
And some bloke called it a wanker and crashed his bike.
If that's even true, I couldn't find necessary proof that happened, but she said it in an interview. She was like, oh, one time this happened, and when he left, he died. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so
She's just selling stories here, isn't she?
exactly. That's
Yeah.
what I think it is.
Yeah.
Before I lay into him, I've got a man called Joseph Laycock, who also laid into him at one point.
Funny name.
Laycock.
Lay and cock in the surname.
Lad.
And he was an assistant professor of religious studies at Texas State University. I think this is going to be the first person you agree with in a religious state. But he said that he dismissed their...
That's what that means.
I got the words wrong. He said that their museum... This is an actual museum that you don't think you can go to anymore, but you
This
should
is not
go
then.
to.
It's just- this is an actual
No, so it's
museum
there.
that you
Does not
can't
exist.
No, it's still there. Their occult museum is still there, but I think since she died, the new owners are trying to move it somewhere, so you can't currently go. That was only 2 years ago.
Right.
But yeah, he said that their museum was full of off-the-shelf Halloween junk, dolls and toys and books that you could just buy in any store. And he said that Annabelle is nothing but an interesting case study in the relationship between pop culture and paranormal folklore. And he suggested that the paranormal doll trope was popularized by films like Child's Play, Chucky, and The Conjuring. And then Twilight Zone actually released an episode called Living Doll. And that was 5 years before this Annabelle thing. And in that episode of Twilight Zone, the mum was called Annabelle. And then the Warrens have jumped on it and gone, oh, we've got this doll called Annabelle. Also, there's nothing from the original nurse who got the doll. There's no interviews with her. There's nothing of her saying, oh, I had this really creepy doll.
Yeah.
They could have just bought this doll in a shop and gone, put that
So
in a
it's
glass
these two
cabinet.
ghost people, is it?
Yeah, I think.
Do you think they owned the rights for the movie?
Well, I'll say what she thought about the movies.
Okay.
But yeah, he said the idea of demonically possessed dolls
Yeah.
was basically just a way for them and demonologists to go, that's boring, that's possessed. They could just look at anything in a normal house and just go, oh, that's possessed.
Yeah.
Get that chair out of here. You can't live here with that chair here.
The later time goes on, the less effort people have put in. Early on, there's a bloke like fucking a goat
Yeah.
and a hairy salmon with spikes on
Yeah.
its back that can make you die by looking at it. And then now it's just like, oh, that doll's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, then they made the films out of it. When the film The Conjuring was released, Oh, sorry. It didn't make sense. When the film The Conjuring released, loads of people started to realise that all of these stories that the Warrens made up were never spoken about by other people. Like, all of these stories were just the Warrens going, this happened in that house, but no one from the house would go, oh yeah, that happened.
Oh, there are a couple of bullshit.
Like, it's literally just them two. And then every single claim of Annabelle is purely Ed Warren's word.
I hate these people.
And that also goes for all of the items in that museum. Nothing there has any backstory other than him giving it a backstory. Like, I could just go, this room is so haunted.
Yeah.
You just asked about what she thought of the films or what they thought of the films, whether they had any rights to it. Firstly, the film, the doll looks nothing like the actual doll.
What's the actual doll look like? Is that like a rag doll?
Yeah, it just looks like a normal... It doesn't look scary at all. The real doll's that. And then that's what they put in the film.
Can I just say now, I genuinely do think the real one's scarier. Robbie, what do you reckon, mate? Like,
I'm not sure. No, I think the other one. I think the demonic one's scarier.
yeah.
But there you go. That's the glass case they put it in.
Yeah, that's definitely scarier than that.
I weirdly don't think it is. I don't know what it is about it. If you go on the side by side of the real doll and the scary doll, yeah. So that, right? Yeah, I see what you mean. I'm trying to think if I woke up and one of them was at the end of my bed.
I think that one's...
Jack, the one on the right looks like a drawing.
Yeah, but there's something scary about that. I reckon some people out there will agree with me. Like, I know what you mean. That one on the left is traditionally a scary demon fucking looking woman. That one on the right, that's weird. That's spooky. Like, there's something about it. I don't know why. It's
only got eyelashes in the bottom.
Exactly. What the hell's that about? I tell you now, if I had to stay in a room with one of those two things in the corner, I'd stay in the room with the left. Fact. I'm choosing it. I'm choosing it now.
Ed Warren died in 2006.
Yeah.
Lorraine Warren died in 2019.
Oh, wow. She outlived him by quite some...
13 years, yeah. And she continued to do like tours talking about all the ghost stories and stuff she did in her life. But then she got I think it was her grandson or someone involved, and he's now also a ghost hunter. But yeah, apparently over 10,000 cases, and they did the whole Amityville Horror, which is a film, there's been a couple of films about that, where the house was so possessed the people had to move out. But again, it's just them telling them that. They've gone, oh, you're going to have to leave. Like, no one else ever found anything other than them. But she was a fan of the films. She said that she really liked the way they depicted her and her husband, and she accepted that the films weren't even remotely true, and that there's a fabricated story for the movie because it served its purpose of warning the public about demons, and ghosts, devils, and demons are real. So she openly admitted what happens in the film wasn't even close to what happened in real life, but I'm glad they did it.
Because she gets featured.
Yeah.
I've just done a bit of maths, and 10,000 cases. If you did one a day, that's over 27 years of doing a case every single day. It sounds like bullshit, doesn't it?
Wow.
You're not going to be able to double up. You're not going to get two in the same street, are you?
Yeah.
You're going to have to at least drive.
That's what I'm saying. I think they were two people who did a very good job of bullshitting the public for a long time.
They're professional bullshitters, and you got to respect the grind.